Hello, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction for Writers podcast. I'm Suzanne Lieurance of WriteByTheSea.com, and in this week's episode, I'm going to talk about intuition, that quiet inner knowing that guides your writing in ways logic alone never can. Now, intuition is sometimes hard to define, but still it's an important component of the writing process. Many writers have experienced moments when they simply knew a particular idea was worth pursuing, even though they couldn't explain why. Other times they sensed something wasn't working long before they could identify the actual problem. Maybe you've had those same kind of experiences. It can also be difficult to pin down elements of the creative process, such as where our ideas come from or how plots evolve as a story unfolds, yet most experienced writers will tell you that intuition often plays a significant role in those moments. So according to the law of attraction, intuition is your internal navigation system. It's that feeling that tells you, oh, this idea matters, or whoops, better stop here, or something isn't quite right. Many writers override their intuition, though, because they think they should follow rules, trends, or outside opinions instead. They may second-guess themselves or assume someone else knows better. But your best work usually comes from listening to that inner voice and allowing it to guide your creative decisions. I've certainly done that for years. In my most recent project, which was a song, because I'm writing a lot of songs these days, I did indeed think that this idea matters, and at another point in the process, I felt that something just wasn't quite right. At first, I tried to push ahead with the original concept, but the feeling wouldn't go away. Eventually, I stepped back, looked at the song from a different perspective, and I made substantial changes to both the storyline and the overall production. The final version was much stronger because I paid attention to that inner nudge rather than ignoring it. The same thing can happen with books, articles, blog posts, or any other creative project. Sometimes intuition tells you to expand a scene, or remove a character, or change a title, or even start over with a completely different approach. That said, intuition and action have to work together. Intuition gives you direction. Action brings your idea into form. You can't simply wait for inspiration and expect a finished manuscript to appear. Likewise, taking constant action without listening to your inner guidance can leave you feeling frustrated and disconnected from your work. They work in partnership. So let's take a look at a practical writing tip. It's called the intuition check. Before making a writing decision, like changing a plot or submitting a piece or starting a new project, pause for a minute and ask, what feels true to me? Notice the answer before your mind jumps in with reasons, doubts, or fears. You might not get a dramatic answer. Sometimes intuition shows up as a sense of excitement, curiosity, relief, or just a subtle feeling of certainty. Then I want you to take one small action that aligns with that feeling. Now remember, the action doesn't have to be huge. It might be just revising a chapter, outlining a new idea, researching a topic, or maybe sending a manuscript out that you've been hesitant to submit. So here's your action step this week. Practice listening to your intuition at least once in your writing and follow it with one concrete step. This might involve doing something we discussed in a previous episode, where you consider getting away from the home office for a change of scenery, or maybe a walk on the beach, or a visit to a coffee shop, or simply writing in a different room. That can sometimes help quiet mental clutter and make it easier to hear your inner guidance. Once you're in a different location, take some time to reflect on your current writing project. Consider some possible changes to the plot, characters, structure, or even the direction of the project itself. Pay attention to what feels right rather than what you think you should do. And then take one action based on what you discover. So that's it for today. Now, next time we're going to talk about building a steady writing practice without burnout. How to stay consistent without pushing yourself to exhaustion. Until then, trust yourself, trust your creativity, and keep writing.